The camera industry has dropped a staggering 98% since 2003 and 40% in the last year alone. But according to CIPA, things should look better into 2021. Sigma is about to release the EVF11 and Canon reaches another milestone. This and more after the intro. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into The Ordinary Filmmaker. Subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news, rumors, gear reviews, or tutorials. And to make things just a little bit more exciting, I'm giving away a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. Details are in the description down below, or you can watch this video here. Please look at the terms and conditions, as there are some age and location restrictions. And now for the news. Sigma's unreleased electronic viewfinder, the EVF11, has been registered with overseas certification bodies, so we can expect a product announcement within the next 1 to 3 months. CIPA predicted that sales will continue to recover into 2021, providing a much-needed boost to an industry that's been under pressure for years. Sales have declined 98% since 2003, and that's just a staggering number, and 40% in the last year alone. DSLRs continue their decline around 26%, and the last stalwart of DSLRs, Canon, well, they've completely committed to developing mirrorless systems or mirrorless cameras. Now, the recovery that started in late 2020 shouldn't be a surprise to viewers of The Ordinary Filmmaker. We saw results in Canon and Sony's financial statements over the past few weeks, and sales numbers for leading cameras like the R5, the R6, A7S III, and of course the Sony PlayStation. Innovation in both companies has led professionals and hobbyists alike to loosen their wallets, which gave a much-needed boost to these companies. Now, a reduction in operating costs and liabilities has further strengthened their balance sheets. My only concern, has this slowed research and development? Will we see the effects of this slowdown in 2 to 3 years as we get minor upgrades to cameras? Time will tell, but I'm willing to bet that Canon and others will start to cut back on their research and development and concentrate on high-income products. Now, as expected, 2020 was annibus horribus. CPA published forecast growth for ILC camera bodies and lenses in 2021. The first time since 2003, they forecasted growth. Canon sold 140 million interchangeable lenses by 2019. Now, in 2 short years, they've managed to sell an additional 10 million lenses for a total of 150 million, thanks to you spending your hard-earned money. And predictions for the long term, well, they haven't been improved. Takeishi Takura, Canon's imaging division general manager, predicts that annual worldwide shipment of digital cameras will fall below 10 million units for the next few years. Like you, I hope we can pull out of this economic and social slump by the middle of this year. Not every industry has fared as well. I wish you all the best in 2021 as we emerge from this terrible hibernation. But now, let's go behind the scenes. In this episode of Behind the Scenes, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. The first is CIPA numbers. Now, while they're predicting that things are going to increase for the first time since 2003, we had a staggering 40% cut last year. I don't see the overall trend dropping. And Canon themselves says, look, this market is going to drop somewhere between 10 to 6 million units. And that's where it's going to kind of solidify. We've got how many players? We've got Canon, we've got Nikon, we've got Sony, Panasonic, Pentax, and a few others. This new market, 6 to 10 million units, it's not going to survive with this many, or not this many companies are going to survive. I think definitely Canon's going to survive. I know that Sony's going to survive, but the rest, it really depends on what decisions they make. I think that Canon's going to start focusing on high-value items. I really do believe that research and development is going to start to slow down. Yes, we've seen an awful lot of innovation in the last year or so, and I think we're going to start to see that slow down. All the fruits of that innovation we've seen in 2020 with the R5, the R6, the A7S III, and we're going to see that in 2021 with the Alpha 1, the R1, and the Z9, and a few other cameras. But then after that, I think we're going to start to see things slow down. This market is not slowing down, it's continuing to drop. And yes, we've had a bit of a blip due to COVID, but going forward, it's a new reality. And I think, you know, systems like the M system, I think it's going to be harder for these to survive. More and more people are going to use their smartphones. As smartphones continue to improve their capabilities in video and photo, is there really a need to buy a camera like the M50 or the M6 Mark II? Maybe cameras will stick to medium to high end, and that's where they're going to make most of their profit. That's where they're going to be able to survive. I really do think that's where things are going in the future. It's just the reality that we're facing. If you want decent photos and video, you can get that in a smartphone, and smartphones aren't cheap. Look how much smartphones cost. And Sony just released a smartphone, I believe, that they paired up with the Alpha 1. It's $2,500 US. So even smartphones are exceeding the cost of cameras like the Canon EOS R6. So there's going to be a bit of battling between where we trade off, where the barrier is between smartphones and where the barrier is between interchangeable lens cameras. And I don't know where that's going to be. I don't know if cameras like the EOS R or the RP, or where the full frame is going to be the barrier, and anything below full frame is slowly going to just fade off into the oblivion. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I think expectations are that the total units sold of interchangeable lens cameras is going to be somewhere between 6 and 10 million when we reach about 3 to 5 years out. But the other thing I want to talk to you about in behind the scenes is the EOS R. As you know, the R5 is in the shop getting serviced. So I've been using the EOS R for a little while thanks to Neil at Canon Canada, who's provided me with a loaner so I can keep producing these videos for you. So a big thanks to Neil. Give Neil your thanks, because he's the reason why I'm still able to produce. Although I probably could use my iPhone, right? But it's not the same. So if you're in Canada and you're looking to get your professional corporate purchaser, reach out to Neil at Canon Canada and let him help you out. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is when I initially did my review of the EOS R and I compared it to various cameras like the RP and the 90D, I said for video, really the 90D is a better camera. It has more features, and I still stand behind that, but I can tell you that I'm very happy with the EOS R. I didn't think it would be able to produce the results that it did. In Saturday's video, coming out Saturday, you're going to see that I was filming outside, and while I could have positioned myself a little bit better, I was actually in a position that while I shot in the summer worked really, really well, in the winter with the sun so low on the horizon, the sun is hitting the lens at just a little bit, and because I'm using an ND filter, I can't put a lens hood on. So I need to come up with some way of putting a hood on there. But either way, I could have just changed the position, as you can see right here, and the lighting, the exposure, and everything looks so much better. I'm still using the 50mm RF1 or the RF 50mm f1.2, and I'm very happy with the results on the EOS R. Yes, it's a little bit soft. Yes, it's in 1080, but I think overall the results are good. And I kind of commented in the video I recorded yesterday, which comes out Saturday, my AMA video, where I said, C-Log, yes, you get it on the EOS R, but if you don't have an external recorder, you're only getting 8-bit. But still, 8-bit looked nice. Now, I do miss that extra range that you get with the EOS R5, because while the dynamic range is a little bit better than the R, unless you have an external recorder, the EOS R5 is so much better because you're stuck with 8-bit versus 10-bit, 420 versus 422. But all that being said, I'm actually quite happy with the camera. I think that, you know, if you see the R6 and the R5 as very, very expensive cameras and well out of your reach, then seriously consider the EOS R. It's so much more affordable, and it does produce good video results. Now, I haven't tried recording in 4K simply because, well, I have to move the camera back quite a bit further, and that kind of changes my lighting options, at least on sunny days. I got to watch out for that sun. And even on a cloudy, overcast day, you never know when the sun is just going to break out. When I'm recording these videos that are essentially 30 to 40 minutes long, I'm often recording for over an hour. And weather changes, and it changes a lot. Even though in winter, we can expect cloud cover for pretty much most, I'd say 90% of the time, 95% of the time. So long story short, I'm getting used to the R5. Yes, it doesn't have waveforms, but I've learned to use the histogram a whole lot more. And is it Kamike? Yes, Kamike, we were having this discussion back and forth, and he's put out a video. Well, he shared it with me. He hasn't made it public yet, but you know, I think me and McKay agree an awful lot. I've been saying all along that I think waveforms, zebras, false colors are much better tools if you want to ensure proper exposure. And spot metering works too, but I said spot metering works in a rather limited way. If you're doing a video where I'm not moving around too much, then yes, having a spot meter where you can adjust where the spot is instead of just having it in the middle of the frame, that works really well. But in the EOS R, where you don't have any of those tools, well, your best option is simply using the histogram. So again, use what you have, but if you're doing an awful lot of video, if you're getting into professional stuff, you really do want to consider an external monitor, which gives you professional tools, waveforms, false colors, vector scopes, and all that stuff. But you know, use the tools you've got. Like I said, the best camera is the one you have with you, and the best results, the best tools are not actually the camera itself, but the tool 12 inches from the camera. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win 2 Angelbird 128GB AV Pro MK2 V90 SD cards, and of course a dual UHS 2 card reader. You could also win the Ulanzi LED light package with accent lights, underwater lights, and various other flat panel lights that you could use for helping illuminate your subject or starting your own YouTube channel. I'll be awarding these 2 prize bundles once the channel reaches 30,000 subscribers, and then I'll offer up a different prize every 10,000 or so subscribers until I reach 100,000. Now, once this channel reaches 100,000 subscribers, that huge milestone, I'll be awarding a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. And on that bombshell, thanks for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.